Gamers, it's January. And you know what that means, right? It means that all the best games already came out last year. So what are we supposed to do now? Are we supposed to just enjoy last year's games like some kind of pathetic losers? I don't think so. We want that new content. We want that 2024 gaming fire. Luckily for you, I've done the research and I have discovered every hot title coming this year. So buckle up while I go through the hottest games of 2024 that I was able to find out about on the internet last night, and I rank them from what I'm most excited about to what I couldn't care less about. You might be surprised. Oh, and before you get mad, just remember this is my list. So don't get crazy that I put a game in a tier that you don't agree with. Let me know about it, but don't get mad. Don't get mad, okay? Oh, and real quick, if there's a game I don't mention, it's just because I don't know about it. So don't think I'm ignoring your favorite game or developer. I just might not be aware of it. First up on our list is Yakuza 8 Infinite Wealth, a game I am so hyped for. I love the Yakuza franchise, and I also love Judgment and Lost Judgment. This developer has done no wrong in my eyes. They've been putting out quality title after quality title. I feel more than comfortable paying the full retail price and buying this game on day one. Yakuza 8 Infinite Wealth goes directly to my S tier. These games are packed with high quality gameplay and such a large variety of gameplay that you always get your money's worth out of them. The characters are awesome. I have both laughed and gotten to near tears playing some of these games. Super hyped for Yakuza 8. Can't wait. It's out in a few weeks. You should at least check out some of the other games in the franchise if you've never played them before. Next up on the list is something I have to believe is coming out really soon. I'm talking about Elden Ring Shadows of the Erdtree. Miyazaki, bro, where is it, dog? It's gotta be coming this year. It's been almost 3 years since the game came out. Where's the DLC, homie? We're all salivating. Actually, I gotta be honest with you, some of my hype has kind of diminished because so much time has passed. This should have been in my S tier, but it's not. Too much time has passed, and now I'm thinking I have to go back and relearn how to play Elden Ring and not get my shit kicked in. So Elden Ring Shadows of the Erdtree should be in the S tier, but I have to bring it down to the B tier because too much time has passed. And I'm gonna be such a hypocrite in like a week from now when a gameplay trailer drops and it's gonna go right back up to the S tier, and I should have held off on this video just a little longer. So I hope you kind of understand where I'm at on that. It's not that I'm not hyped, it's just that they're really taking a long time and they're not giving us much to go on except this single picture, which I probably have already put on the screen for us to look at. Elden Ring Shadows of the Erdtree, B tier, but I have some good hope that it's gonna be amazing when it does come out, and I think it's coming out soon. Bouncing off the idea of something that I have to believe is coming out this year, I want to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2. It's gotta be this year. It's been almost a full 7 years since the first Switch came out, and I think we all know that system is a little past its expiration date. If you played Tears of the Kingdom, you know that the frame rate in that game was not smooth whatsoever. It would dip constantly, and I'm not a graphics guy, but I need my games to be stable while I play them. Nintendo is maybe the highest quality of developer that we have, and if they can't maximize their hardware, you know it's time to upgrade. I don't want to have to buy new systems. I don't. I love my Switch, and I've got such a great library of games for it, but it's a little long in the tooth, and I wouldn't mind having a Switch 2 or a Super Nintendo Switch that can do like 1440p at a locked 60 frames per second. Nintendo Switch 2, I think it's coming out holiday 2024, and it's at my B tier. The only reason it's not higher is because I am super concerned that the Nintendo Switch 2 will not be backwards compatible. To all manufacturers, going forward, if your future systems aren't backwards compatible, I'm not buying them. I can't have more electronics littered throughout my house. I don't have space to store all these systems and the cables and the controllers. It's just not realistic. If a new hardware comes out, I need to be replacing the previous system, and I need to know that all my games will port over into the new hardware. I don't want to buy remasters anymore. I don't want to have to rebuy my games. That's done. That's done. It's off the table. New systems need to be backwards compatible, and I have to quickly give a proper respect to Microsoft because the Xbox Series X and S, they did backwards compatibility right. There's no excuse for not having backwards compatibility in the future. So the Nintendo Switch for me is a B for now, but the second I hear that it's gonna have full backwards compatibility, it goes straight to the S tier. Next up on the list is Last of Us 2 Remake, or Remaster. I don't know what it is. There's so many of these now. I never know if they're remasters or remake, but you know what I'm talking about. The PS5 version of The Last of Us 2. Full transparency, I never really got into the first Last of Us. I own it, I tried to play it, I think I got like 6 hours in, and I just found myself getting kind of bored. I thought the story and characters were tremendous, like 10 out of 10. But the part where I had to play the game, I couldn't connect with it. I could see why people love it, but it wasn't for me. So The Last of Us 2 on paper is a game I shouldn't be hyped for at all. However, I saw the trailer for it, and the trailer looks awesome. And from what I understand, The Last of Us 2, the gameplay part did massively improve. It's the story part that concerns me now. So I'm not sure if I'll pick this up, and I definitely won't be picking it up at release, but surprisingly enough for me, The Last of Us 2 Remake goes to my C tier. I do have some hype for that. The trailer just looks phenomenal. Like, I can't get over how awesome this trailer makes the game look. So it is on my radar. Coming up next on the list is another 2 game. I'm talking about Dragon's Dogma 2. Just like The Last of Us, I didn't really get into the first game, and I should have gotten into that game because fantasy is my shit. Oblivion, Zelda, Lord of the Rings, all of that, that is my jam. That is what speaks to my soul. But for some reason, Dragon's Dogma, like, there was some disconnect for me. Maybe I never gave it a fair chance. That's a really good possibility. But I'm hearing that Dragon's Dogma 2 corrects a lot of issues that people did have with the first game. So this is absolutely on my radar, and Dragon's Dogma 2 I put between my B and C tier list. Again, remember, I'm not saying these are good or bad games. This is just my hype level. I am hyped for this, but not as much as I am for the Elden Ring DLC that I also think will be coming this year. Dragon's Dogma 2, it's on my radar. The trailer looks fun. Gotta be honest with you, I think some of the characters look a little goofy, but that's okay. That's the fantasy setting, baby. You get a little goofiness in there. But if you love the first game, the second one's coming, and it's coming very soon, so you should be excited. Another title I have to believe is coming in 2024. I'm talking about Metroid Prime 4. Man, we heard about this originally like 5 or 6 years ago, I think. It's been a long time. I have to believe Metroid Prime 4 is coming this year, and I think it's going to be a launch title for the Switch 2. That's really what I think's happening here. I think we're getting Metroid Prime 4 for Switch 2 holiday 2024, and that's why this game has been taking so long since we first heard about it. But I am super hyped for it. I actually thought I wasn't gonna like the Metroid Prime games. I thought looking at them, they just look kind of goofy and boring, but when I played it, man, I lost myself in that world. Awesome, I'm super hyped for this. This is at my A tier. The only reason it's not higher because right now it's vaporware. We've just seen a logo. I need to see a little bit more before I can allow it to go to that next level. Metroid Prime 4, A tier for sure though. Next up on the list, man, I'm nervous to even bring this up. Before I mention it, just remember, this is my hype list. I'm not saying this is gonna be a good game or a bad game. It's just how excited I personally am for it. So take a breath, okay? We're gonna talk about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth Remake Part 2. I think that's the title. I've heard a couple different things, but you know what I'm talking about. Part 2 of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I played Final Fantasy 1 and 2 on the NES when I was a child, and I remember kind of enjoying it. There's been so many Final Fantasy games since then that even though I've been gaming my whole life, I find the entire series daunting and confusing. I don't know where to start. I don't know which games are connected. I know some games are different numbers depending on what continent you're standing on, and it's just very intimidating from the outside looking in. With that said, I think these games look really awesome, and I am gonna play the first part of this remake. My cousin Josh, his favorite game of all time is Final Fantasy VII, and he's told me many times throughout my life, how could you have never played this game? How could you have never played this game? And my answer to that is, I bought the game for the PlayStation 1, I was very excited, and my memory card broke, and I was a kid and I didn't have money to save the game, so I couldn't really go any further. And I sure as hell wasn't gonna beat it in one sitting. Never came back. So now I have a golden opportunity. I can play the remake. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth Remake Part 2 is on my radar. I have it as a B on my tier list, okay? It's pretty high up there, but I am a little intimidated because there's just so much lore and there's so many characters and there's so many games that I just don't know. Is this the one I should be starting with? The first part, of course, not the second part. Let me know in the comments, as a Final Fantasy VII newcomer, where should I start? Next up on the list is a game I am really surprised I'm excited for. I'm talking about Tekken VIII. I am not a fighting game guy. I grew up playing fighting games in the arcade and loving them. Street Fighter II, all the Mortal Kombats, like that was my jam when I was a little kid. And since then, fighting games look super intimidating to me. I'm not gonna go online and get my ass handed to me. I'm never gonna get good at those games, so I just don't touch them. I kind of enjoy some of the Mortal Kombats because they have story modes, but even then, it's like a quick playthrough and then I'm done. With that said, I watched the trailer I'm playing for you right now for this Tekken 8 game, specifically this character, and this sold me on the game. I am definitely getting this game at some point this year. Tekken 8 is a high B for me, which is insane because like I said, I'm not a fighting game guy. This looks awesome. I loved pro wrestling growing up, and this character is just doing all pro wrestling shit. It looks really fun, and I don't feel like we've had a good wrestling game in a really long time. The WWE 2K games, they suck to play, straight up. The AEW game came and went, and it played better than the WWE games, but it was a little bare bones. I know this isn't a wrestling game, but it looks like it'll scratch that itch for me, so I am definitely hyped for Tekken 8. B tier for me. I'm super excited to play a game that I'm really unfamiliar with. I haven't played a fighting game in like 2 decades, so this is gonna be awesome for me. I'm gonna get it. Okay, boys and girls, if you've made it this far into the video, really buckle yourselves in because the rest of the items on my list, they're not gonna be high up, let me tell you, and some of you might get a little offended. I wanna talk about OD from Kojima.
The hungry purple dinosaur ate the kind zingy fox, the jabbering crab, and the mad whale and started bending and quacking.
A lot of people online are like saying OD, does it stand for overdose? Kojima said no, it doesn't. I think it stands for Oculus Dexter. I think it's related to vision. There's a lot going on with the character's eyes in this trailer. Even the logo looks like, you know, the kind of eye tests if you're taking your glasses on and off and it's like blurring in and out. I think it means Oculus Dexter. OD goes straight to the bottom of my F tier. And the reason for that is I don't think Kojima wants to make video games anymore. He clearly just wants to make movies and he wants to hang out with Hollywood celebrities, and that's it. Death Stranding had so much hype coming off PT, and it was his first game since being fired or leaving Konami or whatever. And I was hyped. I was so excited for it. It looked like it was going to be insane. The graphics, I thought the characters looked cool. I thought Norman Reedus looked cool. We saw that trailer, what's going on this beach, and everybody's crying, and it's black blood and tears. Like, what is this? And what it turned out to be was one of the most boring, awful walking simulators I've ever played. If it was just a walking simulator, I could have actually have enjoyed it. It could have been a relaxing game, but it wasn't, because you kind of had to fight with some terrible combat mechanics. And you couldn't just walk, could you? You have to constantly play with the triggers to battle. It was awful. It was awful. That's the only thing I can say about it. Death Stranding 2 was awful. Kojima, I'm sorry, whatever talent he did have, he has spent it or he let it go completely because he just wants to make movies and he wants to hang out with celebrities. And this OD trailer, it looks so artsy and so up his own ass. I am so not interested in this shit. I am all the way checked out. I don't care about Hunter Schafer. I don't care about Udo, who can't even remember his lines, so you can see he's looking up the teleprompter the whole time just for this one sentence he has to say. I'm just not into it, dog. I don't care that you're taking pictures with Jordan Peele and you've got Norman Reedus. I don't want to play as celebrities in my video games. When I see a celebrity in a video game, it takes me out of the story because I'm not seeing whatever character they're trying to portray. I'm just seeing the celebrity. And then when you add terrible gameplay on top of that, dude, you lost me. And I think he lost a lot of gamers with Death Stranding. Which brings us to the next game on our list, Death Stranding 2. Is it coming out this year? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But also, this game is going to be on my F tier. Just like Death Stranding, just like OD. I don't believe Kojima wants to make games anymore, like I've already said. I don't think this is going to be a better game. I'll watch the entire story on YouTube, just like I did with the first game after I played 10 hours of it and realized it wasn't getting much better for me. F tier for all 3 of these games. And that brings me to the last game I want to talk about. Another celebrity in a video game, and my dear lord, this looks goofy as hell. I'm talking about Arc 2, aka the Vin Diesel game. all I'm seeing is naked Vin Diesel riding dinosaurs. Like, why would I want to play that? Who's looking to play as naked 50-year-old Vin Diesel riding dinosaurs? Like, I don't think the developers are understanding the want of the gamer. Nobody wants this. The aesthetic of dinosaurs and technology, that never worked for me. Like the Horizon games, excellent games. I don't personally care for them because I don't like the aesthetic of technology meets prehistoric. I think it's a weird mishmash. It just doesn't work for me. So you have that, and then on top of that, you have naked Vin Diesel. Arc 2 goes below my F tier, and yeah, I don't want to play as celebrities in my video games anymore. I didn't mean for this video to turn into a whole anti-celebrity rant, but I just don't want to play as celebrities in video games, guys. It takes me out of the story. I don't need Hollywood in my video games. Let's give the voice acting jobs to the actual voice actors, and let's get some original characters like we used to have. Think of the Resident Evil games, Silent Hill, Mass Effect. Like, yeah, sure, some of those games have celebrity voice actors, but the characters, for the most part, are all original, and it's like legendary stuff. I don't know how I get to the end of all my videos and I start getting really negative. To quickly recap, we have Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth hovering at the S tier. Coming in solid in the A tier, Metroid Prime 4 and Tekken VIII. Very respectable, holding up the B tier, Elden Ring, Shadows of the Erdtree, the Nintendo Switch 2, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Also, Dragon's Dogma 2 hovers between the B and the C tier. Just below that is The Last of Us Remastered Part 2 coming in at the C tier. And then there is quite the chasm from the C tier all the way down to E, where we have OD and Death Stranding Part 2. Even below that, a tier that you never want to be in, is where Arc 2 finds itself wallowing in the shameless pits of nothing. So where would you put these games in your tier list? Comment below and let me know. Did I get something wrong? Do you agree? What games did I miss? Because I absolutely missed something. There is always something to miss, and I would love to know about it. So make yourself heard in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.